Quality no one checked. The project delivered everything. On time, on budget, to specifications. Every milestone hit, every status report green, every sign-off obtained. 6 weeks after go-live, the users rejected it. Not because the team had built it badly, because nobody had sat down with the right people and confirmed what the right thing actually looked like before the first line of work began. Here is the core problem. When quality is defined by the people building the product, the criteria reflect what the team can measure, not what the user actually needs. The project passes every check. The user opens the product and finds it does not work for them. Delivery and value have moved in opposite directions. The same failure plays out across every sector. On a large ERP migration, every technical test passed. The finance team rejected the system at go-live because the reports it produced did not match how they actually ran their processes. On a financial services transformation, the new operating model was approved by the leadership team. The people working within it found 17 process failures in the first fortnight. On a public sector facilities program, every construction standard was satisfied. The teams who moved in found the space did not support the workflows it had been designed for. 3 projects, the same root cause. The root cause is consistent. Quality criteria were set at initiation by the people closest to the build, and nobody went back to test whether those criteria still reflected what the users needed as delivery progressed. That is the gap the PRINCE2 Quality practice is designed to close, not by adding more testing, by defining what good looks like from the user's perspective before a single deliverable is produced. 3 things make this failure so consistent. First, quality gets confused with compliance. Teams check boxes and pass audits, but passing a checklist is not the same as delivering something that works. Second, acceptance criteria arrive too late. By the time anyone is testing, the product is built and changing. It is a budget conversation nobody wants to have. Third, the wrong people define done. Sign-off comes from the project team, not the users. The people who will live with the product every day are the last to be asked. So, what does the quality practice actually mean on a real project? It is not a phase at the end of delivery. It is a discipline that runs from the moment the first deliverable is defined. It means agreeing what good looks like before work starts, and then verifying at every stage that what is being built still matches that agreement. A test result is only as good as the criteria behind it. If the criteria were incomplete or written without the people who will actually use the product, a perfect test score tells you almost nothing. Quality is not a verdict delivered at the end of a testing phase. It is a definition agreed at the start. The quality practice needs to do 3 things in practice. First, quality criteria must be defined from the user's perspective before any work starts. Not what the team can measure, what the user needs to be able to do. Second, the senior user role must carry genuine accountability for keeping those criteria aligned to operational reality as delivery progresses. Third, quality reviews must be in the stage plan as milestones. If they are not scheduled, they will not happen when the pressure builds. The most common mistake is treating quality as something you verify at the end of delivery. By the time a defect surfaces in final testing, the product is complete, the budget is exhausted, and the schedule has no recovery window. The team patches what they can. The users receive a product with known gaps that nobody had time to fix properly. Quality management breaks down in 3 consistent ways. The quality register becomes a document that records planned activities without tracking whether they found anything or changed anything. Product descriptions use language vague enough for the team and the users to walk away from the same meeting with different expectations. And quality gets collapsed into testing, which checks whether the product was built correctly, not whether the right product was built in the first place. On the operating model transformation, the team introduced a simple change. The senior user joined every stage boundary review with a specific remit to check whether the quality criteria still reflected how the business actually operated. In 3 separate reviews, they caught process misalignments that would have been embedded permanently into the final product. The cost of catching them early was negligible. The cost of not catching them would have been substantial. The most powerful quality intervention happens before any work starts. A product description that captures quality criteria in the user's own language gives the whole team a shared definition of success. It closes the gap between what the team is building toward and what the user is expecting to receive. 3 steps that make quality work in practice. First, write a product description for every major deliverable before work begins, with quality criteria in the user's language, specific and testable by someone outside the team. Second, bring the senior user into every stage boundary review to confirm that criteria still reflect operational reality. Third, put quality reviews into the stage plan as milestones with named owners. No date and no owner means no review. On the ERP migration, the finance team's rejection at go-live was not a minor issue. It triggered a 4-month remediation program. The cost of rebuilding the reporting outputs to match how the finance team actually worked exceeded the cost of the original development. And for every week of that remediation, the business was running its financial operations on a system nobody trusted to produce accurate numbers. Quality failures after go-live create 3 costs that are very hard to recover from. Remediation is the most visible, fixing what should have been right from the start, at a cost multiple times higher than early correction would have been. User trust is the most lasting. A product that fails in use erodes confidence in the change program and in the organization's ability to deliver. And operational risk is the most insidious. The workarounds that fill the gap rarely disappear, and they accumulate cost long after the project has closed. Here is the reframe. Quality is not the score the project team gives the product at the end of testing. It is the experience the user has on the first day they try to do real work with it. Those 2 things can be very far apart, and the distance between them is exactly what the quality practice exists to close. The rule is simple. Define quality early and check it often. The earlier the user's definition of good is embedded in the project, the less room there is for the gap between delivery and value to open up. Every stage boundary is an opportunity to check whether what is being built still matches what the user actually needs. Taking that opportunity costs almost nothing. Missing it consistently is how remediation programs start. 3 things you can do this week. First, find the product descriptions for your current project and check whether the quality criteria came from the users or from the team that built it. If it is the latter, that is the conversation to have next. Second, identify who holds the senior user role and whether they are genuinely engaged in quality decisions or just receiving copies of reports. Third, check whether quality reviews are in the stage plan. If they are not there, they will not happen. If quality on your current project is something that gets checked at the end of each stage rather than built into it, this is the week to change that. You do not need a full quality management overhaul to start. One conversation with the senior user about what good actually looks like is enough to shift the dynamic. 3 ways to go further. First, has a project you worked on ever passed every quality check and still failed when real users got hold of it? Leave a comment. That experience is exactly what helps others spot the gap earlier. Second, the Mimir PRINCE2 practitioner course shows you how to build quality into delivery from the start, not manage it as a compliance exercise at the end. Third, this week, find one product description and check whether its quality criteria come from the user. If they do not, that is your next conversation. Share your experience.